Hello and welcome to the Megacast for today. It is Wednesday, April 29th, 2020. I am Tyler Keefe. Dave Scott is out on assignment today. I'll be alone today with our guests all across the board. We got a very interesting show ahead for you today. We'll be joined very shortly by Curt Lawson, the Deputy Police Chief for West Bloomfield Township, and the Public Information Officer as well for the township. And then we'll be joined by midwife Wendy Pinter, who will tell us how expecting mothers have been affected by the pandemic. In addition, we'll be joined with landscaping now permitted in the state of Michigan after Governor Whitmer's executive order last week Friday. We'll be joined by a local landscaper, Tim Murphy, to tell us how his business has picked back up and what precautions he is taking. Golf also permitted once again here in the great Mitten State, with Greg Colombo, General Manager of Pine Lake Country Club, joining us later on in the show. And how are your kids being affected in school, and how is their college and secondary school or career prospects being affected by the coronavirus? Noelle Essig, the college and career counselor from West Bloomfield High School, will join us on the program. And then in the final hour, we'll be joined by David and Susan Emmerling from the Art Sale Collective out of Kego Harbor. They're going to tell us how local artists are banding together to help people in need in our community. All that and more on today's episode of the Megacast. And as we get going, just a few things making news today, making news at this moment in time. The FDA is urging distilleries to make hand sanitizers that quote unquote taste bad. They want distilleries that are taking their talents and abilities to make these hand sanitizers to use denatured alcohol in solutions and make clear warning labels, and for parents, of course, to keep those out of reach of their children. There are reports from the FDA this week that a 13-year-old recently drank hand sanitizer that was not made with denatured alcohol and was in a liquor bottle, having come from a local distillery, and so they're taking precautions to inform the public of what they can do to help prevent further incidents such as that. If swallowed for anyone, but especially for children under 6 years of age, you should seek medical help or call a poison control center immediately. In addition, doctors are warning not to take Pepcid to treat COVID-19. That coming, of course, from an article in the Detroit Free Press. Famotidine, otherwise known and sold as Pepcid, is used to treat excess stomach acid by blocking H2 receptors on the surface of the stomach cells in the release acid. My apologies. That a direct quote from the Free Press article. Chinese studies have been conducted on treating COVID symptoms with Pepcid-like products, but there isn't enough concrete evidence with that. So people are being urged, don't take any medicines, and don't take any medicines that you're not that you haven't consulted with your doctor about taking first. Take these precautions, and remember that if you have any questions about something you should be doing medically, you should be addressing your doctor. They are the experts on this. They're here to help, and hopefully do whatever they can, and you can do whatever you can to keep yourself and your family safe. In state news, Governor Whitmer introduced the My Safe Start Plan, MI, Michigan Safe Start Plan, earlier this week to strategically reopen the state economy based on scientific data and a regional approach. We have that full press conference on our website at civiccentertv.com, as well as clips, so you can learn more about that plan. And Republican leaders are wanting a more expedient plan for reopening the economy before granting Governor Whitmer's wish for an extended state of emergency to give her extended powers to conduct business in the state under emergency operations. And with that, other news coming in just this morning, it's now reported that construction, commercial and residential, will be resumed permissible beginning on May 7th. Tiffany Brown from the governor's office confirmed the date with the Detroit Free Press. More details are oncoming. The governor may have more press conferences as the week comes on, as the week progresses, and make more announcements. We have nothing official just yet, but that is coming down the pike. And then lastly, great news, and I gotta give a shout out to the green and white. Michigan State University has introduced a new decontamination process for cleaning PPE. It takes about 6 hours to complete, and it uses a solution of vaporized hydrogen peroxide to clean several kinds of PPE, goggles, gowns, face shields, etc. In addition to another process that uses heat, introduced earlier, that can really only be used for certain PPE. And both those combined methods, now they're able to clean about 15,000 PPE per day and return them to those who absolutely need this PPE in order to keep our community and keep the people of the great state of Michigan as safe as possible. That's what's making news right now, but we have plenty of newsmakers lined up for you on today's edition of the Megacast. When we come back after this very short break, we'll be speaking with Curt Lawson and Eric Tilley from the West Bloomfield Police Department, get an update on their emergency operations and what you, the residents of the community, should be doing as you return to the public. You're watching the Megacast, of course, on our family of stations, 89.3 Lakes FM, and our high school radio station partners. Happy High School Radio Day to all of you at 88.1 WBFH, The Biff, WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio as well. And you're watching us on television. If you're seeing my face right now, you're watching us on television on Civic Center TV, Comcast Channel 15, AT&T Channel 99, online in high definition on civiccentertv.com. And you're also watching us on the Birmingham Area Municipal Access Television Station, covering the cities, Bingham Farms, Beverly Hills, Birmingham, and more. That is on Comcast Channel 15 as well. And that's where we'll have Eric Tilley and Curt Lawson from the West Bloomfield Police Department coming up after this. You are watching and listening to the Megacast on 89.3 Lakes FM, lakesfm.com, and our family of stations. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Coronavirus is deadly, but Michigan can fight back. Our front doors are the front lines of defense. Staying home is the best way to stop the spread, because just one infected person can give it to 40, who can give it to countless more. So call Grandma, don't visit. Video chat, don't meet up. And if you must go out for food or medicine, keep at least 6 feet from others. Stay home, stay safe, stop the spread.
Technology like smartphones are wonderful devices to reduce social isolation in older adults. You can call grandchildren, phone friends, participate in fitness classes, and play games. But you need to stay mindful of scams. Scams related to the COVID-19 virus are rising. These include attempts to obtain personal information from seniors, including pitching unreliable products, advice, tests, and cures. You need to stay vigilant and be cautious. If you feel that you have been taken advantage of, it's okay for you to reach out to somebody you know and seek out advice, or even contact your medical provider. Thank you.
You're watching and listening to the Megacast, Civic Center TV, Birmingham Area Municipal Access Television, 89.3 Lakes FM, 88.1 WBFH, The Biff, and WAHS, 89.5 Avondale Community Radio. Good day. I am Tyler Kieft, and we are back with more. We will now be joined by two guests from the West Bloomfield Police Department. We are joined by Deputy Police Chief and Public Information Officer Curt Lawson, as well as Lieutenant Eric Tilley. Deputy Chief Lawson, Lieutenant Tilley, welcome to the program. How are you today?
Well, thanks for having us. It's great to see you, Tyler.
Yeah, good talking to you, too. How's your department holding up? How are the officers?
Well, the department's holding up very well. As I said in the previous interviews with you, our run volume is significantly lower than we're used to, which is not a bad thing because it's a little bit less contact that we're having with the public. We are really doing a good job, in my opinion, keeping our officers safe. We got a lot of protocols in place. We check their temperature several times a day. we're really pushing the hygiene, and all of us, all the officers and the entire team are wearing masks. And that's kind of going to be the message that we're pushing out to the community today, is that we don't want you to be complacent. People are going to be headed out, nice weather. They're going to be golfing. They're going to be doing all these things, enjoying themselves outside, but they have got to remember that social distancing. They've got to remember that they need to wear facial coverings and enclosed public spaces. And we encourage it anytime they're out and in proximity with other individuals.
Absolutely. And with the governor's new executive order requiring PPE to be worn, face masks in particular to be worn in public places like grocery stores and so on. We recently did a public service announcement with the police department, Civic Center TV did, regarding proper use of PPE. But not everybody's going to be able to get a face mask like you're wearing, like Lieutenant Tilly is wearing, Curt, Lawson. And if they are making their own PPE at home, their own do-it-yourself PPE, what are some tips from the police department or from the Emergency Operations Center in West Bloomfield that you may be able to provide to the public in that regard for making effective PPE?
Well, we have a couple of examples right here, but I'm going to let Lieutenant Tilly kind of give you some suggestions that come directly right from the CDC.
So what we know from the CDC is that any homemade personal protection equipment masks, they need to be multiple layered. So this one that is being held up here would need to be folded in half or be some sort of thicker material. There's actually some information on the CDC that shows which materials work best. For example, a loose knit scarf is not going to work great, but denim seems to work very well against viruses similar to this. So my suggestion would be if you're going to make your own mask, please check with the CDC recommendations. Make sure that it complies with their recommendations so that it is effective. Like I said, a loose knit scarf is a bad example, whereas denim would be a good example.
Right, because you're trying to prevent particulate matter from your mouth from getting out into the air, from particles that are in the air to be able to be picked up by you, especially in a public place, and especially as people begin to come out of their homes and go back to work. That has to be absolutely paramount for people to be able to make sure that they're protecting themselves, but also protecting everybody else. So on that note, as people come out of their homes and things get busier out and about, how can we, the community, help people in law enforcement and just the general public to maintain safety with the public now being a lot more busier than it has been the last couple of months?
Well, we would suggest that what would really help us out is be proactive, have an attitude that you're going to go out and you're going to be safe. So make sure that you always have these face masks, these facial coverings with you, that you're having that proper hygiene if by chance that you touch a surface that you don't know if it's been disinfected. And even if you just get in a routine that you're going to use hand sanitizer, soap for 20 seconds, and you're going to keep that social distancing. That is going to help us. Our biggest concern, number one, is complacency as we move forward. And two, that we are going to encounter a spike and we're going to go backwards. Right now, we're making some pretty good progress moving forward. Seems like we have seen a trickle down of the curve that we saw last month. And that's exactly what we wanted. But as we enter the warmer periods and people are going outside and they're doing more socialization, we're concerned that the complacency is going to set in and we're going to have a spike. And that's our biggest fear.
And with new requirements in place from the governor's updated executive order, people are required in indoor facilities such as grocery stores and box stores and whatnot to wear PPE. Is there going to be any enforcement of that from a law enforcement standpoint? Curt Lawson, Deputy Police Chief and Public Information Officer, Lieutenant Eric Tilly from the West Bloomfield Police Department. Any sort of enforcement on your guys' end if people are not wearing PPE in public places?
Well, there are no criminal sanctions that go with the facial coverings, but for us, and it's been through the entire process, beginning and the beginning of March, it's been an educate the public on what keeps them safe. Certainly at the township government level, they are finishing touches on a very comprehensive plan to bring employees safely back to the workplace. And I think businesses all over the state of Michigan are beginning to do that. And it's got to be a priority to put those safeguards in place to not only take care of the employees, but to take care of the public. So we don't know what the new normal is going to be, but I can assure you that I believe facial coverings is going to be one of the new norms going throughout the summer.
And so with there not being any criminal side necessarily to not wearing these protections in public, can businesses deny service to people if they aren't wearing these masks?
From my review of the executive order, it's my understanding that, in fact, that they can.
And so with that being the case, and there being precautions out there within this executive order for these businesses to take their own precautions and make their own decisions as to what's safe in the business in their business, as these businesses have reopened since the executive order on Friday, and as they continue to over time, the Emergency Operations Center, your team over at the police department in West Bloomfield, they have a lot of interaction with these businesses on a normal day. What are you seeing from them now that that things are starting, particularly retail is starting to come back? What kind of precautions are they taking, and how effective of a job are they doing in keeping their facilities and their customers safe as that happens?
Well, I can tell you what we're seeing is a lot of cooperation. I know one of the individuals that you're going to be interviewing later today is Greg Colombo from Pine Lake Country Club. And he is an individual that I've had a lot of discussion on the phone with. He's been a great partner. And they wanted to golf. You know, they wanted to let their members go out and golf, but they were very cooperative in discussing with me and the executive staff here on interpreting the executive order. And we have seen that across the board with businesses where there's been a little bit of confusion. There's quite a few gray areas with these executive orders, and we've helped them interpret them and interpret them in a way where we think it's best to keep everyone safe. So I would say that our business community here in West Bloomfield has been extremely cooperative with us. We have had to take no enforcement actions, and it's just educate, educate, educate.
This time, you mentioned that that West Bloomfield Township is beginning to put plans in place to bring their employees back to Town Hall, back to the Civic Center complex in West Bloomfield on Walnut Lake Road. So with that being the case, first responders are going to, I would presume, are going to play a key role in executing that and making sure that the employees are coming back safely. What kind of role, as far as you can tell us at this time, do you believe or do you know that our first responders are going to play in returning our municipal employees to work?
Well, our Emergency Operations Center has been more of an advisement component to the plan that's been put in place. And the plan that's put in place, the timeline is able to be shifted depending on if we do in fact have a spike, what the data tells us. So we're being very flexible, and we're being very careful with the procedures that we put in place keeps everyone safe. One thing I want to note before we end it here, I just remind our residents that the May 2nd Hazardous Waste Day that usually takes place right on the township campus here, which is hugely popular, and we get thousands of people, has been canceled, and we'll hope to do it later this fall, but there will be no Hazardous Waste Day May 2nd. Okay,
yeah, but so again, May 2nd, they do that twice a year, the Household Hazardous Waste, the spring event of that, for precautionary reasons, has been canceled. Deputy Chief Curt Lawson and Public Information Officer, and then Lieutenant Eric Tilley, anything else you'd like our audience to know that we haven't discussed yet, or anything else that you would like to say at this time?
Well, I just think it's important to remember that education is one of our best defenders. If we can educate our family, make sure that especially our teens are obeying the proper social distancing, using proper personal protection equipment, and keeping their high-touch areas clean, they're going to be, in my opinion, really itching to get out of the house now as we're rolling back to some sort of new normal. And I just think it's important for the parents in the community to really educate their kids and their teens about how they still need to be safe, because they're going to go out into the public, but whatever they come in contact with, they're bringing back home. So just moving forward, I think it's important to educate not only ourselves by maybe watching the video that was made by you guys regarding the proper use of PPE, but also to take the time to talk with our children.
And that process can be tough because these families, they've been cooped up for a couple of months. They've been stuck at home, and maybe they have some plans in place, but now with everybody returning to society, gradually, albeit, there's some more gray areas there, and there's some more dangers that may be in place. What process do you suggest these families go through to formulate those plans, and better yet, to execute those plans to keep each other safe?
Well, I think there's a lot of information out there. But the video that the deputy chief made is a great way to start about how to properly use PPE, also discussing when and where to use it. And at this point, I think it's safe to say you should use it anytime you're having contact with anyone outside of your own home. I think it's safe to do that. And I think that's really where you want to go with that, is just spend the time to talk to them. If you have questions about it, you can certainly call the police department. We're happy to answer any questions. Or you can find your own information online. Just make sure you're using a reputable source like the CDC.
All right, Eric Tilley, Lieutenant from the West Bloomfield Police Department, alongside Deputy Police Chief and Public Information Officer Curt Lawson, also from the West Bloomfield Township Police Department. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, sir. Take care.
You too. Curt Lawson, Deputy Police Chief and Public Information Officer, Lieutenant Eric Tilley, both from the West Bloomfield Police Department. You are watching and listening to the Megacast on Civic Center TV, Comcast Channel 15, AT&T Channel 99. You're also watching us on Birmingham Area Municipal Access Television on Comcast Channel 15 in Birmingham, Bingham Farms, Beverly Hills, and Franklin. You're listening to us on our family of radio stations, 89.3 WBLD, 89.3 Lakes FM and lakesfm.com, 88.1 WBFH, The Biff, and WAHS, 89.5 Avondale Community Radio. So Curt Lawson, Eric Tilley, they both discussed in our interview with them just now precautions that you can take and steps that you should be taking. You should be formulating a plan. If you live alone, you should have a plan. So if I'm going to the grocery store, how am I protecting myself as I go out the door? What am I doing to protect myself and others in the grocery store? When I bring those groceries back, how am I properly disinfecting the bags, disinfecting the containers, making sure that I'm not bringing any contamination into my home? You should have those plans, and if you're in a family, discuss it with them. Discuss it with your loved ones. Formulate a plan and use the information at hand to make those plans. And one of those places you can find all that helpful information is on our website at civiccentertv.com. So I just clicked on the coronavirus link at the top of the page. And if you're watching on TV, you're seeing this right now. We have some of those resources for you, those reputable resources that Lieutenant Eric Tilley from the West Bloomfield Police Department had just mentioned. So the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is a very reputable source from the federal government. It has information on symptoms, slowing the spread, making face covers right here, cleaning and disinfecting different surfaces for reopening. All of that is on the CDC's website, so you have that available to you. If you're looking for something more local and more regional, the state of Michigan has a website with question and answer forms about COVID-19, different reputable resources that they're providing to you for you to collect information and formulate your plan. And then you have Oakland County as well, the county's website, and you can figure it out if you're going out on the town. You can look at their very helpful map regarding COVID-19 cases. So if you're going into a less COVID-19 concentrated area, you can be a little bit more reassured that you're in a safer spot. You still got to take those precautions, and maybe you take extra precautions when you're in an area with a higher concentration. That map available at oakgov.com as well on their coronavirus page, oakgov.com/COVID. And then you have your individual communities in our listening area. If you want West Bloomfield Township, we got a link to their website. Rochester, the city of Rochester, we have a link to their website. Bloomfield Hills, Pontiac, Troy, wherever you live, we have that information. And then we have up-to-date news and information on what you need to know regarding the coronavirus in the community, in the state, in the country on our coronavirus page, as well as helpful interviews with other further information by clicking on the Megacast page. You can go through and watch full interviews with our very knowledgeable guests, including Yesterday, we spoke with Eric Wallace, the president of Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital. We spoke also with the Bloomfield Township Fire Department yesterday, Mike Morin, the fire chief, EMS Captain Matt DeRoos also. Keagle Harbor spoke to their police department. We've spoken to State Representative Ryan Berman this week. A lot of information coming in regarding helpful information that you'll need to know about COVID-19. So, like West Bloomfield Deputy Police Chief and Public Information Officer Curt Lawson, like Lieutenant Eric Tilley from the West Bloomfield Police Department had said, you can make your plan and stay knowledgeable and understand how you're going to keep yourself safe during the coronavirus pandemic. We'll have more information for expecting mothers. How do you keep yourself safe? How do you keep your little one safe? Families, how do you prepare? That all and more coming up on the Megacast after this short break. You're watching us on Civic Center TV and Birmingham Area Municipal Access Television and listening to us on 89.3 Lakes FM, 88.1 WBFH, The Biff, WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio, and you're also watching us on today's Facebook partner page, the West Bloomfield Township Police Department. The Megacast returns after this.
Hi, I'm Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter. Our top priority remains slowing the spread of COVID-19 in our communities. Please stay home, and when you must go out to an essential business, take precautions like social distancing and washing your hands when you come home. Because of the pandemic, we are behind in our response rate in Michigan. While you are home, please take a few minutes to fill out the census. It is more important than ever that we receive money back from our federal government. The census is Oakland Together.
I know you're concerned about the coronavirus, and we're working hard to combat its spread and keep your family safe. But we need your help too. Wash your hands often with soap for at least 20 seconds. Avoid touching your face and cough into your sleeve. Replace handshakes with an elbow bump. Avoid large crowds or events, and if you're sick, stay home and call your health provider. Every one of us can make a difference limiting the virus's spread and keeping Michigan healthy.
The Megacast returns Civic Center TV, Birmingham Area Municipal Access, both on Comcast Channel 15 and AT&T Channel 99 in their community television guide. Also on the radio, 89.3 Lakes FM, live streamed online at lakesfm.com. And on our two partnering community and high school radio stations today on High School Radio Day, 88.1 WBFH, The Biff, and their station manager, Ron Whittables, and our help from Logan Pizzuro over at WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio, bringing you all the news and information you need to know in Oakland County regarding the COVID-19 pandemic and speaking to people all throughout our area about important information regarding the coronavirus and different areas of life. And one of those areas of life that maybe hasn't been discussed a whole lot in your local news or even here on the Megacast is what are expecting mothers going through? What are families that are expecting a baby going through during this crisis? And we are now joined by by Wendy Pinter from 9 Short Months Birth and Community Wellness Center on the Megacast. Wendy, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
So first off, how are you? How's your team? How's your family doing during all of this?
Well, everybody is safe and healthy right now. I appreciate you asking. My team is tired. I would definitely say that that is a good way to describe how things are here.
And so for those unfamiliar, what does 9 Short Months do? What services do they provide?
We provide full scope prenatal care. So people come here for their prenatal care while they're pregnant, and then they actually will come and deliver at this facility as well. We offer a natural birthing experience, including water birth. Our beds looks like a bed and breakfast in here that you give birth in. So this is kind of giving people the home birth experience, but not at their home.
So dealing with expecting mothers, prenatal care, it's got to be a hands-on service that's being provided to these families. And COVID-19, obviously, it's going to have a huge impact on that. So What are some common deficiency of services for mothers, either from doctor offices, from services like yours possibly, or needs and challenges that have arisen during the pandemic?
It was quite a challenge right from the beginning. I would say before the pandemic started, we had a volume of probably 3 to 5 births a month. It wasn't really a super high volume. So all of us really worked part-time. That was what we were used to. Come around March 15th, 16th, I started seeing people calling me on Sundays, and it got to the point where we were getting 25 calls a day from new moms. And one thing that has been interesting about this, I'm not really sure what other offices are doing, but we're getting a lot of emergency calls from people who aren't able to get a hold of their healthcare practitioner. Right when everything shut down, I think prenatal care was still considered a essential service, but everybody went right down to telemedicine, ourselves included. And while that was appropriate at the time, I think, some people have fallen through the cracks. Even in our practice, we probably missed some things that we should have been on top of just for the fact that people weren't coming into the building anymore. And another thing that we had, I'm glad that we're doing it, but we've adapted a model of actually doing drive-through prenatal appointments for people. This was something that we learned by talking to other birth centers nationally. We all got together right when this happened and came up with some best practices. And that concept was really hard to sit with, and it was really awkward for everybody. We would be in full gear and then go out to the car, and we would just shrug and laugh and cry, because we are used to sitting and talking to people, and here we are passing them the Doppler to check on their own baby's heartbeat in their car. And this week I started getting annoyed with it, just like wanting to relax those guidelines a little bit that we had come up with to protect our space. In the past 24 hours, we've had 4 babies that have come through here. And so we really need our space to be very healthy for these, individuals that are coming in to give birth. And I was just like, can't we just have people do their prenatal care like normal again? And, 2 of our people that showed up yesterday had fevers in their car, so they didn't come in the building. And I was like, okay, I guess it's not time yet. We're not ready to totally get back to normal as much as I want to rush it.
And so with that, parents are cautious. They should be cautious, and it's got to be affecting your business to have that kind of caution out there and have all these different threats out there to the health and safety of your clientele and of course to your staff as well. So Wendy, what precautions are Wendy Pinter, of course, from 9 Short Months Birth and Community Wellness Center, what precautions are you and your team taking to kind of ease those worries and to help keep your facility, to keep your staff, and to keep, of course, your clientele safe as we continue through this process?
I've had to hire a bunch more people so that we can work essentially on 2-person teams, so that if somebody does get exposed, whether it be here or outside of here, that they don't take out the entire workforce here. And it's not easy to find people that are skilled in this, but I've been very fortunate to put together a really good team. And as most healthcare facilities, we get stretched thin, especially when we're busy, and we are busy. I'm happy for that, that I wish it didn't take this for people to understand that this is a really great option for giving birth, especially if you've had a baby before. These people they're having a great experience, but it's kind of, we're taking it really seriously. I don't go anywhere except for here. I don't even go grocery shopping, and I expect the same of the people that I employ. So we are really sacrificing, like even seeing our own families in order to keep our patients safe.
And so even beyond that, with social distancing measures in place that you're taking, you're trying to avoid having people come into your office, like you said earlier, that are having a fever or aren't feeling well in any way, shape, or form. You even mentioned you're doing drive-through care as well. Have you engaged in telemedicine for these expecting mothers, and what are some challenges with that potentially that have arisen?
Well, I think the challenge is that all of a sudden, in order to do telemedicine effectively during pregnancy, people also need to buy equipment like a fetal Doppler or a fetoscope, which requires some skill to use. They have to have a blood pressure cuff. And without those things, we're just talking to them, which there's a lot of value in that. And we do spend about an hour with each of our patients when we do a telemedicine visit. So I feel like we're getting a pretty good range on things. But somebody can look fine and be quite sick. So that's the challenge that we have. And I think we're seeing some stories about that coming out nationally, that some things are being missed, especially in the pregnant population, by doing, primarily telemedicine. And I can definitely see that evidence in just the random phone calls I'm getting from people who aren't getting the type of care that they might need for the situation they have.
So you said your team at 9 Short Months Birthing and Community Wellness Center has delivered several babies already just this week. In terms of the actual act of delivering the baby, especially in these times, and in regards to keeping the baby safe, obviously they're very young, their immune system hasn't developed. What's been changed in the actual process of delivering the baby and in the immediate postnatal care as regards to the coronavirus?
Well, what I'm happy about is that in spite of how different our lives have become, and all of us have had a huge shift in how we behave, when it comes to birth, that's the same. And it's actually helped to keep me grounded, just to see how this process is still beautiful and natural. At first, I remember the first switch that I had, the woman came in I think it was on Wednesday, and she was pregnant with her 10th child and due any minute, and she gave birth, I think it was the Saturday right after. And I was just there myself, because I didn't know, nobody knew who was sick. And we made it very simple. She had a water birth. I wore protective equipment. I didn't hover over her. I don't even think that I needed to touch her. Like, the baby came out very easily. And after the birth, we did our standard, weighing and measuring, but mostly I kept the baby with her. And we usually do a home visit after, like 24 hours after, to check on mom and baby. And instead we have switched to just making sure all of our testing and everything is done before they're discharged. So they leave the same day, like 4 to 6 hours after the birth, and we aren't sending people to their homes anymore. And that is something I cannot wait to be able to get back to, because I think that's an important part of the care that we provide.
Wendy Pinter from 9 Short Months Birthing and Community Wellness Center, thank you very much for joining us today on the Megacast. Best of luck and health to you, to your team, and to your clients going forward. Thank you for being with us today, Wendy.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's Wendy Pinter from 9 Short Months Birth and Community Wellness Center joining us on the Megacast. You're watching us on Civic Center TV, that is Comcast Channel 15 and AT&T Channel 99, on Birmingham Area Municipal Access Television, also on Comcast Channel 15, and you can find that on Channel 99 in the AT&T Community and Public and Educational Television Guide. That covers Birmingham, Bingham Farms, Beverly Hills, and Franklin as well. And you're listening to us on our family of radio stations, of course, right here, our mothership 89.3 Lakes FM and lakesfm.com, 88.1 WBFH, The Biff, and WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio out of Avondale Schools in Auburn Hills. And a big shout out to those two stations today on this high school radio day during High School Radio Week, fulfilling their obligation to the community, their duty to the community, providing information alongside us to you during this very difficult time. And a big thank you, of course, on top of all of those stations, to the West Bloomfield Township Police Department and their Facebook followers joining us today on Facebook Live for the duration of the Megacast. I am Tyler Keith. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, landscaping is back in business. How are they getting back into business? What are they doing to keep your lawn, to keep your home, to keep neighboring areas safe? We will speak to Tim Murphy, the owner of LMS Landscaping, and he's also a stand-up comedian. How has entertainment been affected by COVID-19? That and more coming up. You are watching and listening to the Megacast, and we will be back very shortly.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jonay Khaldun. I'm the Chief Medical Executive for the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. The people who are at highest risk of getting severely ill from COVID-19 are the elderly and those with chronic medical conditions. That includes people with heart disease, diabetes, COPD, or those who have compromised immune systems. People who are in those categories should right now be staying at home as much as possible and not going out if it is not essential. If you fit into one of those categories, those are the things you should do. And if you have a family member who fits into one of those categories, you should be checking in on them and making sure they are following those guidelines. There's something everyone can do to protect the community from COVID-19.
Hi, I'm Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter. Our top priority remains slowing the spread of COVID-19 in our communities. Please stay home, and when you must go out to an essential business, take precautions like social distancing and washing your hands when you come home. Because of the pandemic, we are behind in our response rate in Michigan. While you are home, please take a few minutes to fill out the census. It is more important than ever that we receive money back from our federal government. The census is Oakland Together.
Watching and listening to the Megacast on Civic Center TV and Birmingham Area Municipal Access Television. I'm Tyler Keith from the Green Media Center studios in West Bloomfield. You're also listening to us on 89.3 Lakes FM and lakesfm.com, 88.1 WBFH, the Biff out of Bloomfield Hills at Bloomfield Hills High School, and WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio, a service of the Avondale School District out in Auburn Hills. You're also watching us live on the Facebook Live page of the West Bloomfield Township Police Department. Our Facebook partners for today joining us with their well over 1,000 followers for today's program, and plenty of information we've already gone over, some safety precautions that you can be taking now that things are reopening from the West Bloomfield Police Department, from Lieutenant Eric Tilley and Deputy Police Chief Curt Lawson, as well as some things that are affecting expecting mothers. We just spoke before the break with Wendy Pinter from 9 Short Months Birth and Community Wellness Center. And now we are joined by landscaper and stand-up comedian Tim Murphy, owner of LMS Landscaping. Tim, welcome to the program. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thank you. So first off, how are you? How's your family? How are your colleagues holding up during all of this?
So far, so good. My mom actually contracted it, but she made it through pretty quickly. So, I mean, she's 76 years old, and we were pretty worried, but she spent a week in the hospital and then quarantined at my place for roughly 2 weeks because my older sister has stage 4 cancer, so she couldn't really be around the house there.
So you're...
But as far as...
No, continue on.
But as far as the rest of the family, everybody else is fine. I've known a couple of people that have had family members contracted and pass away, and contracted and get over it pretty quickly. So it's been pretty rough couple months.
Yeah, it definitely has. Especially I have family that's also immunosuppressed, and I've been lucky that I haven't known anyone that has come down with the virus, but people I know that know other people have come down with it. So it's a really tough time. And you're also an owner of a of a landscaping business. It's a small business, and it has to have been affected, of course, by the stay-at-home order up until this point where you weren't permitted to be going out and performing your landscaping services. How has your business been holding up? How has it been affected by the coronavirus pandemic?
Actually, it hasn't. To be honest, it hasn't been that bad. I'm a co-owner. I'm actually taking over the company next year full time, but we normally don't start full time till May 1st, as is a lot of companies that I know. I mean, a lot of smaller companies, or if you have a lot of accounts, a lot of big companies, I should say, you're probably out mid-April, getting going, doing cleanups and stuff like that. But when she kept announcing, that they weren't releasing us yet, if you want to put it that way, we weren't too worried because it is an essential aspect of lawn cutting is essential, because if it goes too long, it takes forever to get under control. You've got mosquitoes, deer ticks, rodents that'll build up, and that'll take a long time, and it could cause more issues, health issues too. Like I said, looking at grass driving around, could it be cut? Yes. Does it need to be cut? No. So we all kind of assumed, closer to May, she was going to raise it anyways. And with a lot of the cities saying that they weren't going to enforce it, I've seen companies out for the past 2 weeks.
So it's not been as much of a, okay, we're permitted now, we got a lot of ground to cover. It's more just business as usual for your team.
Yeah, as far as us go, I know 3 or 4 different guys that work in the industry, and they weren't planning on going out until she said. So we were kind of planning on going out to some of our accounts. We do a lot of commercial and a lot of bigger accounts, 50-acre common areas. We do a church in Northville, Ward Church, but they're going to start off every other week, because until they get people in the building every week, their budget is really low. So it's going to affect us that way. Some of our accounts may switch to every other week, and that affects us money-wise.
So now that you are back in service, you'll be servicing people's lawns. You said businesses' lawns. The safety of your customers and of your team as well has to be paramount. What is LMS Landscaping doing to ensure the safety of its clients and, of course, of its employees as well?
We're going to drive separate. Being co-owner and foreman, I will drive the vehicle with the riders and the equipment, and then our guys will meet us at the accounts. So we're not, we're keeping that safe distance, if you will. And as far as the day-to-day work, lawn care is one of the least contacted jobs you can have. I mean, I'm sitting on a rider. We rarely see anybody. If we do, they're way more than 6 feet away, and we're outdoors. So I usually wear a mask and gloves anyways, just because of the allergy season. But other than that, it's not much we can do. And like I said, we're not around people. We're in big properties. We're on riders. And with people being stuck at home anyways right now, we're not going to see anybody. We've given a list to some of our accounts that have residentials, and just, we've given a letter saying, please remain indoors. If you have any questions or comments, text me. So
you're taking precautions, even on top of just yourself and your coworkers, to go to your clients and say, we don't have to be interacting outside. You can stay right indoors. We'll take care of everything in a safe manner. Now that places are reopening and workplaces are returning, they're also supposed to be providing safety provisions to their employees in terms of PPE, face masks, and so on. Is that something that you are working on or struggling with in your company, to provide your people with the proper precautionary measures that they have to take under this new executive order?
Yeah, we've always had, keeping with OSHA standards, and like I said, I'm not the only one that wears a mask. All the guys end up wearing masks, but we've bought, medical grade masks if they want them. Most of the guys wear face shields that you can buy online. Just pull up, they act as a bandana too. And then we all got gloves and everything. And like I said, contact wise, we're not near anybody. So, I mean, I deliver papers part-time at night. I get more contact that way than I do ever lawn care.
So we've also spoken recently to other businesses that have started to reopen under the new executive order, golf courses, boating, and so on. And they've said to some extent they've seen a little bit of an uptick in demand beyond the norm. Have you experienced that with landscaping? Have you or other people that you know in the industry experienced a sudden uptick with Friday? Now it's permitted, and you're back at it?
No, we have a set schedule every year. So we have contracts signed. So it was just a matter of when we were ready to go. I'm sure the contracts are ready to go. As this week, we go full time next week. We're doing some part time this week with the weather permitting, but depending on the resident or the business, we'll see how it affects how much longer this stay at home is in effect, because some residents may not be able to afford us to come on a weekly basis, so it may switch to every other week. But we might also get some new contacts just at the start when people realize, they don't want to go outside and deal with it, or the grass has gotten too long, if they actually stuck with the governor's request to stop doing it.
Tim Murphy joining us, co-owner of LMS Landscaping. You're also, on top of co-owning a landscaping company, you're also a stand-up comedian. Tell us a little bit about your background with stand-up comedy and what you've been doing with that lately during this.
It's been put on hold, obviously. Not a lot of stand-up places open at all. I started about 5 years ago. I took Bill Bashard's class at Joey's Comedy Club, which is now closed. And I've done shows here and there throughout the years, a lot of open mics, and got kind of put on hold over the winter, obviously with everything else. But I try to do some content on Instagram and Snapchat.
So you have kind of switched to a virtual performance as well. Comedians, they have a lot of contact with other comedians. They talk all the time. So for other people that are in comedy that you have been familiar with from before, how are they varying what their performance is during this time with clubs closed, open mic nights aren't being a thing, you're not getting gigs around? Do you know anyone else in comedy that has also been varying what they're doing, and any interesting stories from that angle?
Yeah, I know a couple guys are doing a lot of YouTube stuff, filming stuff at home. A lot of guys are doing stuff with their family. Obviously, everybody being quarantined at home, they're integrating their kids or unwillingly their wives or spouses, and they're just trying to keep busy, keep people familiar with them, because it's easy to forget there's a lot of comedians out there, and especially a lot of full-time comedians. So this hit them pretty hard, not being able to go out and make a living.
Tim Murphy, co-owner of LMS Landscaping, also a stand-up comedian. Lawn care services, landscaping services now permitted once again under the most recent executive order issued last Friday from Governor Gretchen Whitmer. So Tim, before I let you go, if people are sitting at home right now, they're watching our show, they're looking out their window during the breaks, and they're saying, my lawn is just ridiculous right now. It's too long. I don't want to go out there and cut it. My lawnmower's not working. I got to get it serviced. I need a landscaping service to help me out. How can I get in contact with you and your team?
You can call us. LMS is 248-388-4230. We're also on Facebook, LMS Landscaping Lawn Care. And we service mostly Livonia, Northfield, South Lyon, Plymouth, Canton area, Farmington Hills also. So.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us today. Tim Murphy, owner of LMS Landscaping and stand-up comedian. Anything else you'd like to say before I let you go?
No, stay safe, buddy.
All right. Thank you very much. That is Tim Murphy, co-owner of LMS Landscaping, joining us on the Megacast Civic Center TV, Birmingham Area Municipal Access, or BAMA, in Birmingham, Bingham Farms, Beverly Hills, and Franklin, and on the radio on 89.3 Lakes FM, lakesfm.com, 88.1 WBFH, The Biff, and WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio. I'm Tyler Keefe. We're just a few minutes away from the top of the hour, and very shortly we'll be speaking with the general manager of Pine Lake Country Club, Gregory Colombo, on the program, talking to him about what's been going on with golfing. Now golf is now back and permitted once again. How is he and his team keeping golfers safe, keeping the community safe? And what's going on at Pine Lake Country Club during this coronavirus crisis? How are they keeping up? We'll find that out and more coming up in just a couple of minutes. You are watching and listening to the Megacast on Civic Center TV, Birmingham Area Municipal Access Television, on Facebook Live on the West Bloomfield Township Police Department Facebook page, and of course on the radio on 89.3 Lakes FM and lakesfm.com. WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio and 88.1 WBFH The Biff. The Megacast returns shortly.
The Centers for Disease Control and Oakland County Health Division encourages households to prepare for the possibility of a coronavirus outbreak in their community. Keep extra items in your house for an extended stay at home. Remember any special food items for babies, the elderly, and pets. Keep non-prescription drugs and other health supplies on hand, such as personal medications, at least 1 month's supply, first aid kits, alcohol-based hand sanitizer, at least 60% alcohol, non-mercury thermometer, and get copies and maintain electronic versions of health records. Talk with family members about how they would be cared for if they got sick and what would be needed to care for them in your home. Learn about the plan at your child's school and your workplace. Discuss sick leave policies and/or telework options for workers who become ill. For more information, go to oakgov.com/health or call our Nurse on Call hotline at 1-800-848-5533.
Coronavirus is deadly, but Michigan can fight back. Our front doors are the front lines of defense. Staying home is the best way to stop the spread, because just one infected person can give it to 40, who can give it to countless more. So call Grandma, don't visit. Video chat, don't meet up. And if you must go out for food or medicine, keep at least 6 feet from others. Stay home, stay safe, stop the spread.
Hi, my name is Curt Lawson, and I'm the Public Information Officer for West Bloomfield Township. We wanted to reach out to you, our older adults, to provide information that you may find useful during this difficult time. We want to ensure you that West Bloomfield Town Hall, our Waters and Utility Department, West Bloomfield Parks, and our police and fire departments continue to work hard on your behalf. Information and resources can be found on the Township website, the police Facebook and Twitter, or call West Bloomfield Park's COVID-19 Help Hotline. Please remember to keep your social distance of at least 6 feet, wear facial coverings when you leave your home, and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds with soap. These precautions will help keep you safe during these difficult times.
For those of you just joining in now, you are watching and listening to the Megacast, Civic Center TV, Birmingham Area Municipal Access Television in Birmingham, Bingham Farms, Beverly Hills, and Franklin. Listening on the radio on 89.3 Lakes FM and lakesfm.com, on 88.1 WBFH, The Biff, and on WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio. You're also watching us on the Facebook Live, on the Facebook page of the West Bloomfield Township Police Department via Facebook Live. I am Tyler Kieft, rejoining you now on the program, and we're going to be joined here right now by someone who's, I'd imagine, very busy right now with golf now permitted once again in the state of Michigan, joined by General Manager of Pine Lake Country Club, Gregory Colombo. Greg, welcome to the program. My apologies, Greg. I didn't have your audio up. Go ahead.
Morning, Tyler. Thank you for having me on today.
Yeah, thanks for being with us. Greg. Starting off, I ask this of everyone: how are you? How's your team? How's your family holding up?
Everyone's doing good. I think at this point, everyone's just a little cabin fever. Family's okay. My nephew's a ICU nurse at St. John's Ascension down in Madison Heights, so he's got the frontline view of what's going on. So I kind of use him as my sounding board as far as kind of where things are going and how he's doing. But so far, he's been safe and he's doing okay. And knock on wood, my family's doing all right. So as well as the members too, which is good.
Well, this isn't news to you, but the good news that is out there, golf is back. It's permitted once again under the most recent executive order by Governor Whitmer. So how's that been helping business at Pine Lake Country Club? What has the response been from the golfing community that hits the links over at Pine Lake?
The response has been great. Business-wise, it really doesn't impact us too much because there's no golf carts yet. So really members are walking and carrying their own clubs, which is fine, because if you think about it, really, golf is the ultimate individual sport. So really, it's a perfect sport for social distancing, a great way to get out and get some exercise and enjoy the fresh air. Because really, if you can walk on the golf course, what's the difference if you're carrying a bag of clubs with you? and most golfers aren't good enough to hit the ball in the same place anyways as their playing partners. So I think the members are thrilled to be out of the house. Things are a little bit different. Everyone's working from home a little bit more. The kids have no activities to go to, so it's been great to see parents and kids coming out in the afternoon, at least spending some time together out playing and walking at least a few holes and getting together.
Gregory Colombo, General Manager of Pine Lake Country Club, joining us on the Megacast. Quick pause for the cause for station identification. You are listening to 89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake, West Bloomfield, Keagle Harbor, Sylvan Lake, 88.1 WBFH, Bloomfield Hills, and WAHS Auburn Hills, that's WAHS 89.5, Avondale Community Radio. You're also watching us on Civic Center TV, on Comcast Channel 15, AT&T Channel 99 in the greater West Bloomfield area, on Birmingham Area Municipal Access Television on Comcast Channel 15, and on the AT&T Community Television Programming Guide on Channel 99. And you're watching us on the Facebook page of the West Bloomfield Township Police Department via Facebook Live. So, you said, Gregory Colombo from Pine Lake Country Club, that golf is the ultimate social distancing sport. It's an individual sport. For your team, with operations beginning to slowly but surely reemerge at Pine Lake Country Club, how are you and your team working to ensure proper precautions are being taken on the links and at the club?
Really, I've taken more webinars and Zoom meetings than I knew existed. To learn more and more about the virus and what I can do to help keep my team informed and members informed. Communication's been the key among staff and members as well. As we've all learned, this is a very fluid situation. It's changing week to week and even day to day. And really kind of what we're making sure is that when we May 15th, hopefully we'll be able to open up back in some capacity for members to come inside the clubhouse again. But in the meantime, really, we're following the governor's executive order. The Michigan PGA was great as far as giving us some specific guidelines as far as directives, as far as what we should and shouldn't do to help keep members and staff safe. So really, we're going with minimal staff. We've either furloughed or got people working from home as much as possible to keep them safe. And really, it's members are handling their own bags, and it's so counterintuitive to a service culture that we have of making sure a member actually never touches their bag, but we usually do it for them, whereas now it's the opposite. And making sure that they're coming out, and we're encouraging them to wear face masks upon arrival. Flag sticks aren't to be touched. There's no rakes in the traps. We're following all the protocol that we've been given. And I think the members seem to enjoy it. I think it's amazing that we're doing things online and through our mobile app, which is fantastic as our membership gets younger and more tech savvy. They use this as a great opportunity for them to really decide, hey, I want to go play. They jump on the app real quick, and they can tee time for the next day or later on that day if they've got a window to play 9 holes. And it really gets them out, gets them active. Everyone's walking. And it's a different game when you walk and carry your own clubs as opposed to ride a golf cart, that's for certain. And I think members are appreciating the fact maybe that they get to play. Since it's been so long since they've gotten to play, I think they're really appreciating the fact to go out and enjoy the golf course and some of the work our superintendent Terry Pulley's done over the winter. I mean, the course is in fantastic condition, and we're pleased with the job. And we had a mild winter, so he got quite a bit done out there. And the course looks terrific. I can't wait to play myself. I get to play.
So no golf carts, no touching of the
no touching, no divot mix, no flags, no rakes, no coolers, no ball washers, none of that kind of stuff out there.
So you're definitely taking your precautions, and your team's taking the precautions out there to keep the golfers safe. So is there anything else?
Absolutely.
Is there anything else in regards to golfing, to the golf operations at Pine Lake Country Club that you and your team have enacted in the wake of COVID-19 and of this new executive order to maintain, even though golf is an individual sport, it's also very much a social activity to make sure that these groups of people are a minimal size or are keeping distance from others?
It's tough. Your natural tendency is to hang out after your round and have a beverage and share a beverage with your fellow players. And unfortunately, they just can't do that. So we've also spaced our tee times further apart than usual to allow for less chance of groups coming together. My golf course staff, pretty much they're all working off the same equipment. those doing the work on the golf course, getting it ready. So really, if I've got my cart, my mower, my equipment, that's mine, and I'm owning it for now at this point in time. So there's no shared equipment or tools of any kind either. So really, we're trying to take every step from the first guy on the golf course who's mowing the fairways and rolling the greens to when that golfer comes out to play their round. So the real key is we're keeping people apart. We're encouraging not to come more than 10 minutes before the round and to leave immediately after. But the hard part is, I mean, country clubs and golf, it's social afterwards. Even though it's an individual sport, it is very social, because one of the things I love about golf is that you play 18 holes with somebody and you really get to know somebody during that time, and you spend 4 hours together and you feel like you've got a common bond and you develop a relationship. And that's what's special about a club. Everything we do there's nothing essential about joining a club, belonging to a club. But what's essential is those relationships that members and families build together, whether it's through the swim team or through golf or tennis. It's a relationship-driven business, and this is really the hardest part is the social distancing. It's the opposite of what our club's all about, which is social interaction. But one thing we are going to do this Thursday, we've already done one, is we're going to donate another 400 meals to St. Joe's Hospital over in Oakland County, to the first responders out there who are working so hard in the front lines, making it safe for the rest of us. So we did that a few weeks ago over at Henry Ford Hospital over in West Bloomfield, and St. Joe's is right around the corner from us. We wanted to donate there as well and do our part for all the nurses and administrative staff and doctors, and make sure they get to enjoy a good meal as well.
That's a great effort that's being taken by your team and has continued to over time. We spoke a couple weeks ago with Eric Avila from your team,
yeah, Chef Eric's doing a great job.
Yes, he absolutely is, and his team did an amazing job with those 400 meals for Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital frontliners. It's a great volunteer effort from your team. If you've seen that more people on your team have wanted to get involved in this someday, are there any other ways that you and your team at the club are reaching out to help people in the community beyond, of course, these people on the front lines?
You know, and at this point, I think it's hard because everyone's so spread out right now with as far as staff goes, but we're trying to keep in constant communication with our staff, making sure there's no issues with any unemployment that they're experiencing. Members have been great, calling me, checking in, how's the staff doing, and that's probably been one of the biggest things that I've enjoyed hearing is I've got members calling me or emailing me, hey, how's the staff doing, how are they holding up, and we can't wait to see them again, which is nice, because it's relationships just not with members, but it's also with the staff. I've got employees who work there 20, 30. Last year I had a full retire for 48 years. I mean, the staff spends a lot of time at the club with members, and it's an extension of their family. And it's great how they've just been reaching out to keep an eye on them to make sure they're doing okay in these tough times.
It's profound. It's amazing the care that's being taken by your team, and also the care that's being taken for your team by the members as well. So country clubs it's more than just golf that's available there. Have any other services been continued on, or any plans to do those gradually as things open up?
Yeah, actually tennis, we've been able to do some tennis with the USTA has given us some very specific guidelines to follow. So we're following their strict protocol as well, making sure same thing. You don't show up any more than 10 minutes before your lesson or your match, limiting the number of people on the courts, making sure that we're sanitizing doors and handles and railings throughout the day, just making sure that things are being done correctly to protect the players and my team from the virus. So, and it's really, that's also another great individual sport. Really, it's just you couldn't be further away from somebody. It's I'm not sure what the distance is when you're playing singles, but you're a long ways away from somebody else. So, and people want to be active. I mean, everyone's got a little cabin fever. With gyms being closed down, our fitness center is closed down right now, which I know members are anxious to come back to. But hopefully we get the pool opened up in a couple of weeks, and we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens with our swim team. We've got 160 kids on our swim team. So we're going to see how that's all going to work out, getting the kids back out. And I'm sure that the state's going to have some modifications for us as far as what we can do there. But we're a big, busy, active place, especially through Memorial Day through Labor Day. It's a family club, and And that's going to be the hardest part, is keeping people separated and following the proper social distancing protocols. And we're just going to have to be patient, patient other with the guidelines and the rules, and work together.
Gregory Colombo, General Manager of Pine Lake Country Club, joining us on the Megacast on Civic Center TV, on Birmingham Area Municipal Access Television, on the Facebook Live page of the West Bloomfield Township Police Department, as well as on the radio, 89.3 Lakes FM, 88.1 WBFH, the BIF, and WAHS, 89.5 Avondale Community Radio. The permission to operate a golf course for people that play golf came out really suddenly last week at the end of the week in the governor's executive order. I would expect there to be some more sudden changes as the data comes in and modifications are being made and certain restrictions are lifted. What is your team doing to keep prepared for those, and how did this sudden change with regards to golf affect your team to get back so quickly?
Well, we kind of planned ahead, worked a plan B. We knew it was going to change at some point, so we kind of had ourselves ready, knowing she was going to probably ease into it. I think Governor Whitner's done a good job kind of following what some of the other states, what they're doing in New York. We keep in touch. A lot of our members are members down in Florida, so we've kind of been following what some of the southern states are doing as well. So we kind of knew it was going to come this way. It was just a question of what degree we were allowed to get our members back up playing again. So we knew it was almost be like a soft opening. That's probably the best way to put it. So as the restrictions continue to ease and we watch the curve and how hospital admissions and things like that are going, we understand and realize that it's eventually going to get here, and that's where members have been great. They've been patient. But we know at some point when carts are permitted back, it's going to possibly be one rider per cart or family members only in the same cart. Maybe stricter cleaning processes and procedures on the golf clubs. Caddy program. I've got a great caddy program, and unfortunately we just probably won't be able to get that going right away until probably after Memorial Day. But it's a great way for kids to make some extra money and learn a bit about the game of golf. But we've just got to kind of be prepared, and the only thing that's guaranteed right now is change, and we've just got to be flexible and adapt and roll with the punches, because that is what we do, and we deal with it all the time. The elements change our day all the time. A rainstorm can completely ruin and change our day from morning to afternoon. So we just got to continue that mindset and just look at every challenge as an opportunity instead of a problem.
Earlier on in the program, we were joined by Deputy Police Chief Curt Lawson and Lieutenant Eric Tilley from the West Bloomfield Police Department. They said they've had a lot of discussion with you about your operations and about clarifications on the executive order. How important has that dialogue been between your business and local first responders to ensure and to enact different policies at the club to ensure the safety of your team and of course, of the members that are coming by?
Sure. The communication's been great. I've spoken to Deputy Lawson a couple times, several times actually. Just so we want to make sure our police officers and first responders have a hard enough job. They don't need golfers or tennis players or boaters making it any worse. So really, we want to make sure before we do something, hey, can we do this? What are your thoughts on this? And it's collaborative. We want to make sure that we're on the same page. We're not putting them in a position where they're going to have to say or do something that they don't want to do. And we also don't want to embarrass any of our members or put ourselves out in the community in a bad light. So the real key is just reaching out to them, being proactive, and vice versa. He's got myself. He calls it now and then as he needs to. And I'd rather hear from him than from somebody else as far as that goes. So the real key is just communicate, whether it's via email, phone, and just being proactive and making sure we're doing what's allowed. And if we're not sure, I reach out and pick up the phone or shoot them an email. That's the best approach that's worked well so far.
For members who have been hunkered down or people that would be making appointments to tee times to be golfing or to be playing on the tennis courts and maybe have been hunkered down and haven't been keeping up with information from the country club, what should they be prepared to do as they come to the club? What new rules, other than what you've spoken of before, where not going 10 minutes before your appointment and so on, what new things can they expect in this time until we're out of the woods with COVID-19?
A lot of emails. It's really a lot of emails, websites, text messages. We've got multiple sources for informing members. We've got a Golf Genius app that we use as well for our members to set up for events or for scoring. So that's just one more avenue. But really, in this digital age, it's just communicating more and more. It's almost over communicate. Keep the messaging. Whatever they do, send out more emails with less content. It just seems like you want to make sure that people are reading what you're sending them, because sometimes if you send them too many details, they only skim through it and they're just inundated with email after email right now from everybody that's out there with updates. So we want to make sure that it's targeted and pointed and effective for what interests them. So really that's kind of the key. And there's always, and I've pretty much been going to work most days, even though we're really not as busy, just as a resource. If a member's got a question or if they need something, I'm available 24/7 for my members, and if I know the answer, I find out for them. So that's really the key. It's just to make them feel comfortable with where we're at. And if they're not sure about something, we're here for them to ask the question.
Gregory Colombo, General Manager of Pine Lake Country Club, joining us on the Megacast on Civic Center TV, Birmingham Area Municipal Access Television, 89.3 Lakes FM, 88.1 The Biff, and WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio. Gregory, before I let you go, anything else that you'd like to say to our audience? Anything that we haven't maybe touched on that you'd like to speak about?
No, I think we covered most of it. I think the real key is everyone's just got to be patient and understand that things are changing, and this is going to be a different summer. It's going to be a unique summer. It may not be the summer we thought we were going to have, but we're still going to have a great club this year for everybody, and we're going to provide a great and safe atmosphere for them and their families to come on out and enjoy themselves. And it's just going to be different, and it's not going to be better. It's going to be worse. It's going to be different. And I think it's actually going to be better. I misspoke on that. I think it's going to be better because I think people are really going to appreciate what they have at the club and the fact that we do provide a nice, safe and secure, friendly, familiar atmosphere for them. Maybe you can't get somewhere else. And I think that's going to provide them a nice level of comfort to come out throughout the summer and be a nice little oasis, so to speak, for them to spend their summer with us. If they're not going to get on a plane and go somewhere, come spend it with us.
And where can they get any information and sign up for tea times and so on going forward?
We're a private club, so I'd love to sell somebody some memberships if they want to. But they can find us on our website at the club, or they can email me at gjcolombo@pinelakecc.com, and I'll be happy to set something up for them and share the information with them, and we can get them out, give them a tour once the governor will let them, and show them our great campus and all the wonderful amenities that we got, and they can meet all the wonderful members that we have already, and see if they want to be a part of it, which would be fun for everybody once the sun starts shining every day again.
Gregory Colombo, General Manager of Pine Lake Country Club, having joined us on the Megacast. Thank you very much, Greg, for being on with us today.
Thank you. Thank you, Tyler, for having me. Appreciate it. Everyone be safe and be well.
You as well. Thank you, Greg. Gregory Colombo, General Manager of Pine Lake Country Club, on the Megacast on Civic Center TV, on Birmingham Area Municipal Access Television, 89.3 Lakes FM, 88.1 The Biff, WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio, and joining us on the Facebook page of the West Bloomfield Township Police Department, whom Greg and his team have had plenty of conversation with during this to keep their business safe as they're reopening. And if you have questions, they even said earlier, you can always reach out to your local first responders for some sound advice and to help lead you to resources for COVID-19 information and how to best practice social distancing and other safety measures in the community as the community starts to reopen, as businesses begin to reopen, as other people that are going back out into society are meeting with you out there in society. You got to take your own precautions and do the best that you can. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. We're going to take a short break and return with more COVID-19 information. I'll review our COVID-19 vocabulary, and coming up, we will speak with college and career counselor Noelle Essig from West Bloomfield High School on the program. You are watching and listening to the Megacast on Civic Center TV, 89.3 on Civic Center TV and Birmingham Area Municipal Access Television, and listening on 89.3 Lakes FM, 88.1 The Biff, and WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio.
Hi, I'm Dr. Faust, the Medical Director for the Oakland County Health Division. The most important thing you can do to prevent the spread of illness is to wash your hands thoroughly and often. Follow these 6 easy steps every time you wash your hands. Step 1, turn on the sink and wet your hands with warm water. Step 2, Apply soap to your hands and lather between your fingers, under your nails, and the front and back of your hands and wrists. Step 3, wash your hands by scrubbing them together for at least 20 seconds. Step 4, rinse your hands with warm, clean water. And step 5, dry your hands with a clean cloth towel, a paper towel, or hot air blow dryer. If you're using a cloth towel, make sure to change it often. For handheld faucets, turn off the water using a paper towel instead of your bare hand. Step 6, if you're using a paper towel, throw it away. Practice healthy habits like washing your hands after coughing or sneezing into them to keep you and others healthy. Go to oakgov.com/health or call Nurse on Call at 1-800-848-5533 to learn more.
Coronavirus is deadly, but Michigan can fight back. Our front doors are the front lines of defense. Staying home is the best way to stop the spread, because just one infected person can give it to 40, who can give it to countless more. So call Grandma, don't visit. Video chat, don't meet up. And if you must go out for food or medicine, keep at least 6 feet from others. Stay home, stay safe, stop the spread.
The Centers for Disease Control and Oakland County Health Division encourages households to prepare for the possibility of a coronavirus outbreak in their community. Keep extra items in your house for an extended stay at home. Remember any special food items for babies, the elderly, and pets. Keep non-prescription drugs and other health supplies on hand, such as personal medications, at least 1 month's supply, first aid kits, alcohol-based hand sanitizer, at least 60% alcohol, non-mercury thermometer, and get copies and maintain electronic versions of health records. Talk with family members about how they would be cared for if they got sick and what would be needed to care for them in your home. Learn about the plan at your child's school and your workplace. Discuss sick leave policies and/or telework options for workers who become ill. For more information, go to oakgov.com/health or call our Nurse on Call hotline at 1-800-848-5533.
Watching the Megacast on Civic Center TV, Comcast Channel 15 and AT&T Channel 99. Birmingham Area Municipal Access Television, or BAMA, on Comcast Channel 15, AT&T Channel 99, and their community television guide. And of course, you are listening to us on 89.3 Lakes FM, lakesfm.com, and our family of community radio stations here on the Megacast. Happy High School Radio Day to 88.1 WBFH, The Biff, and their station manager, Ron Whittables, and WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio, and one of their great student leaders, Logan Pizzuro, a junior at Avondale High School, who is hitting all the buttons over there, keeping us on the air in the Auburn Hills area. Thank you very much, Logan, doing an excellent job, getting up bright and early during this and getting text messages from me saying, hey, everything okay at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. What high schooler does that on their own time? That's crazy, and that is awesome, and he's got a bright future ahead of him. We thank them for joining, and we thank the West Bloomfield Police Department for being our Facebook partner today, joining us on Facebook Live for the entirety of the program. And, of course, this morning we had the pleasure of talking with Deputy Police Chief and West Bloomfield Public Information Officer Curt Lawson from the West Bloomfield Police Department, as well as his Lieutenant Eric Tilley, joining on the program at the beginning as well. And, I speak of high schoolers taking time out of their own day and avoiding extra sleep in order to help a radio broadcast. That's just one of the few things that's just something that Logan Pizzuro and other high school radio people like him have to deal with. But there's a lot of other concerns that high school students have to deal with at this point in time, especially with the conditions that we're under during the stay-at-home order and during the COVID-19 crisis. And to talk more on that, I'm joined now by Noelle Essig from West Bloomfield High School's Career and College Center, a counselor at West Bloomfield High School. Noelle, welcome to the program.
Hi, thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Noelle?
I'm doing well. Crazy times we're in, isn't it?
Absolutely. How's your family? How are your colleagues all holding up during all of this?
You know, we're hanging in, we're adjusting, and we're having, the whole mantra of flexibility, and kind of really relates to what my job is and what we tell our students too, as far as, you're venturing off, things are going to look differently. I'm the college and career counselor at our high school, and I work with our awesome counseling team, and we're keeping busy right now. We're doing a lot of things virtually through Zoom meetings and kind of bringing our students up to speed with what they need to do, and answering their questions and anxiety that they're having. And a lot of it right now is we just don't know. And so we're just saying, you know what, everybody's in the same boat, and we'll wait and see what happens.
Yeah, student life has obviously changed drastically. One day they're in school and they get a day off, so the school district can kind of put together a plan for what they're going to do if this escalates. And the next school day, they're out and they're learning virtually. So what hurdles have you in your communication with your students, what hurdles have they been having to get through beyond just the difference in schooling, and how are you and your colleagues in the West Bloomfield High School Career and College Counseling Center helping them through that?
So I think, just from my own perspective, I'm a parent of 4 boys, and, watching that transition of the excitement in the beginning of, oh, wow, we don't have to go to school, to about a week later, the reality of, oh my gosh, we can't go to school, we can't connect with our friends. That the hard reality, I think, is setting in for all of our students, of things that have been canceled, things that are being postponed. Fortunately for us at West Bloomfield, we're pretty active with technology in terms of Google Classroom. Our students are pretty savvy, so we were able to right away on that Monday make that transition pretty smoothly. Now, I will say nothing beats in-person classroom instruction, those connections with kids. And I think that's, for us as a department, those are the things that we're working on, is taking the time to reach out to students that are in need. Through Zoom meeting is really how we're doing it the best, and trying to make sure everybody's okay.
So universities and colleges, they've been announcing more lately that they're changing some of their expectations and their requirements for entry or for applications. What are some notable examples that you can provide for prospective families and students that may be looking at colleges now to possibly apply or still making their decisions?
I think one of the most common thing that we're seeing right now is how colleges are handling standardized test requirements. As you may or may not know, a lot of the ACT and SAT test dates have either been canceled, or those students have been moved to later test dates. And so for a lot of our juniors in particular, who are missing out on some of the opportunities to take the SAT or the ACT, it's a source of great anxiety for them. In response to that, what we're seeing is many colleges are going test optional or test flexible, meaning that they understand that students are physically not able to get to a test site. So they're either waiving that requirement or letting students decide, or letting them, hopefully when this opens up, students can take the test and submit them after they've already filled out their college application. So it's kind of a wait and see. And the one thing that I keep reassuring all of our students is that this is a nationwide issue. It's not like it's just specific to Michigan students, it's across the nation. So everybody is in the same boat, and colleges fortunately are responding to that, because they know that students, many of them right now, haven't been able to test.
And for juniors that are looking into applying to colleges or beginning to make their decisions, this is a critical time of the year where they're communicating with their counselor and with their teachers as well to get that all going. Preparation helps to ease some of those anxieties that they may have with, I can't take the SAT or the ACT, and I may not be able to meet with some of these admissions counselors in school at the events that they have throughout the year. What are some things that families, for juniors, for even outgoing seniors that haven't made up their decisions yet for their future, or people earlier on in their college career, can be doing right now at home while they have this time to better prepare themselves and kind of ease some of those anxieties?
Right. So actually the colleges are doing a lot right now. There is a promoting the public's virtual college fair that's going to be coming up. If you follow me on Twitter at WBHS Counseling, you'll find that I'm posting a lot of the links of upcoming opportunities for students. But with the one that's coming up, students will have an opportunity to talk with admissions reps, ask questions. It's all virtual. So that's a way to connect with schools. The other thing, I publish a newsletter that goes out twice a week to our students, and anyone can find it on our West Bloomfield High School Counseling webpage. It's called the Counselor Connection. And I've put in there several links to virtual seminars that are going on that colleges are providing for free. And I also have several links on there for virtual campus tours. So students can click on the link and do a virtual campus tour. Now, again, as a college counselor, that is not the way that I would suggest that you select your college just by looking at video. You do want to try and get on that college campus. But I think it is a nice way virtually to take advantage of this time and to see the campus before you even go. And I would recommend, even if we weren't in quarantine, that you make sure you do your research before you go and visit a college campus and explore a little bit. So there are some things that colleges are doing, and just log on that college website, take a look and see, but the colleges are responding. They want students to be able to still connect with their college and university.
So there's been plenty of opportunities that have arisen from these colleges and through your department at West Bloomfield High School, Noelle Essick, West Bloomfield High School College and Career Counselor, that have given these students an opportunity to still kind of have that immersive process happen, but just in a more virtual way.
Right. I'm busy almost every day with some kind of seminar that I'm gearing. Right now, most of our seminars are geared towards sophomores and juniors, doing things like how do you set up a Parchment account, Scholarships 101, where to look for scholarships, how to begin your college search, how to make use of different search engines that are out there, how to start your college essay. So, SAT, ACT prep, advice from seniors. I've got seniors that are coming in and students are able to ask the seniors questions about what worked well for you, what didn't work well, what do you recommend? So we're still trying to do a lot of this virtually as best we can. And our attendance actually has been pretty good. So I've been happy with that. Our students are responding and taking advantage of this time to learn more. And, again, we're stretching ourselves with how we use technology, and, it'll be interesting to see how we change things down the road as well.
Yeah, preparing for college, preparing for your next career step, it's a huge undertaking. It's a very collaborative undertaking between the students and their families and between their counselors. And there's only a select few at each of these counselors at each of these schools. So with everybody out and everyone having their own time schedules now, instead of something more set in stone where there's a school day and then it's less variable time open after the fact, has there been any struggle with the counseling department to continue to keep this dialogue going with so many students, and what kind of challenges have you faced and overcome in doing so?
I would just say the biggest challenge is just where none of us are used to being in front of a computer for this amount of time, and I think students are getting overwhelmed a little bit with the almost sometimes too much information that we're providing, and so I just think that transition of the technology piece is probably the biggest challenge. And then we've adapted as well. We know that our seminars that we start at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock are better attended than things that we would start in the beginning. We started at 9 and 10. Now we're adapting to the needs of our students. So we're figuring it out slowly.
So if I'm a student and I'm feeling anxious right now because I'm getting to the end of my high school career, I'm about to go into my senior year, and I'm thinking about college A, college B, career path A and B, and what will be required for that. And maybe I'm having some struggle in school with the virtual aspect of the learning because it's different and it doesn't fit my personal learning style. What kind of action has West Bloomfield High School, the school district, the College and Career Counseling Center been doing to help these students ease their worries a little bit and still ensure them that they're on the right path and they're going to get there even despite these challenging times?
Yeah, I would say the first thing that I always tell students is just take a deep breath, breathe, know that even if you knew exactly what you wanted to do, I mean, statistically, professionally, I don't know if you've changed your careers, but I know, for myself, I started off in college admissions at a university, and, now I'm working in a high school. So it kind of relates, but, it's not like our parents or my grandparents' generation where my grandfather stepped foot on a job and he was there until the day that he retired. In our society right now, we're changing careers 2, 3, 4 times in our professional life. So I think when I say that to students, they kind of breathe a little bit like, okay, I'm not picking the job that I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I just have to pick career pathways and learn more about myself. So we have career interest inventories that we can do with students. Zello is one that we're doing right now. The OneNet or ONET is another one that's free online that students can have access to. And you can find all of this on my counseling webpage, different links to career surveys. So we just ask students just to breathe a little bit, know that it's not a lifetime decision always, and that you can pivot. You go down one path and you make a change and you pivot. The one thing that we do stress with students, though, is to keep an open mind. College has become so expensive, and they need to make sure that the return on the investment is there. Does it make sense to go to XYZ school and graduate with $50,000 worth of debt when you can get the same degree at ABC school over here and not have that same amount of debt because they offered you some scholarship money? So I think that's what we really emphasize with students, is keeping an open mind. Keeping an open mind as well about the trades. That is a growing need within the state of Michigan. So we promote that all the time. We've had different opportunities for our students to go and shadow different seminars that the county has put on, and we've taken full advantage of that. Looking at ways to pay for your education through the military, and even taking a gap year sometimes to figure it out. Those are not necessarily bad plans. So just keeping an open mind.
That's absolutely important, keeping an open mind and being willing to change with the times and change with what you're feeling at the moment. I mean, personal story, I'm not doing the career I was initially going to go to school in order to do. When I graduated from Andover High School in 2013, I was going to be a kinesiology major. And I still believe to this day, because my science scores in high school were okay, but not exceptional, that's the reason I wasn't immediately admitted into Michigan State, where I eventually went. But I started taking classes at Oakland Community College. I took one general chemistry class, and after about 2 weeks of that, I knew I wasn't going to be a kinesiology major, and I had changed my perspective major at Michigan State to media and information. I was a radio guy that was interested in exercise science, and then realized that now working in media is the perfect place for me to be going. And so I changed that career path. And I know people in this industry that have gone to college, and I know people in this industry also who have learned their skill in a trade. And like you had mentioned, that skilled trades, it's a very viable option for a lot of people, and it's something that you should consider in addition to or in complete opposition of a 4-year college or 2-year college program or something of that sort. Interesting to think about, though, because a lot of these trades are some of the skilled trades are very hands-on and are in an environment with a lot of other people or with equipment that has surfaces that are easy to keep COVID-19 on. How has that been? How have the skilled trades and the entry points into skilled trades been affected by the coronavirus?
I think they're affected like all of us. I don't want to speak for how the skilled trades are doing, and I'm sure they have their health requirements of how they're doing things. But, I think all of us were just kind of taking it day by day and figuring out what the requirements are. Yeah, I guess I can't speak to the skilled trades and how they're handling coronavirus, but I just know that for our students, be staying open-minded to opportunities and career pathways, and that it is a viable option.
Well, Essig, West Bloomfield High School College and Career Counselor, joining us on the Megacast on Civic Center TV, Birmingham Area Municipal Access Television, 89.3 Lakes FM, WBFH, The Biff 88.1, and WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio. So before we wrap this up, we just got a couple more minutes with you, Noelle. Just on a global level, for parents, for families, for students who are thinking about their next step, who are struggling with school at this moment in time and need to talk to a counselor or need some guidance through all this, what are the best steps for them to take? What are your absolute number one top couple of suggestions for them to take into account to ease their worries, just in a general sense, in terms of their education at this time?
I would just say at this point, please make sure you're reaching out and communicating with us. You know, we always tell students, we are here 100% to help you. We have such a caring department, a caring administrative team, and the teachers. But if we don't know about it, we can't help you. So speak up, let us know that you're struggling. We're currently doing surveys with our students as check-ins. The teachers are checking in. So they're letting us know if they're aware of a student that is struggling. And students have, by filling out the survey, can respond to it, and that's how we're identifying our students. But again, if you don't take the time to fill out the survey or send us an email, we are here to help you. We care about you and are definitely here. So please reach out to us as well.
Noelle, anything else you'd like to say? Anything else we haven't touched on?
No, I really appreciate you having us on. I think the more discussions that we can have about careers and college choice is wonderful. So I appreciate it. Anybody who would like to reach out can look at our Twitter handle. It's at WBHS Counseling is another great resource, and our counseling webpage as well. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for being on with us. Noelle Essig, West Bloomfield High School College and Career Counselor at West Bloomfield High School, joining us on the Megacast on Civic Center TV, on Comcast Channel 15, AT&T Channel 99, as well as on Birmingham Area Municipal Access. Now, another TV partner joining us. They are serving Birmingham, Bingham Farms, Beverly Hills, and Franklin. So expanding out even further we are with the Megacast. And, of course, on our family of radio stations, our mothership station, 89.3 Lakes FM, 88.1 WBFH The Biff, joining us from Bloomfield Hills, and WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio, joining us from the Avondale Schools in Auburn Hills. We're going to take a very short break, and we will return. We'll be talking with two people from Art Sale in Keego Harbor. How are artists helping those in our community most in need in these very difficult times? We'll talk to David and Susan Emmerling from Keego Harbor about those efforts being done out of the heart of the lakes in Keego Harbor on the Megacast, coming up in just a moment.
Coronavirus is deadly, but Michigan can fight back. Our front doors are the front lines of defense. Staying home is the best way to stop the spread, because just one infected person can give it to 40, who can give it to countless more. So call Grandma, don't visit. Video chat, don't meet up. And if you must go out for food or medicine, keep at least 6 feet from others. Stay home, stay safe, stop the spread.
Hi, my name is Curt Lawson, and I'm the Public Information Officer for West Bloomfield Township. We wanted to reach out to you, our older adults, to provide information that you may find useful during this difficult time. We want to ensure you that West Bloomfield Town Hall, our Waters and Utility Department, West Bloomfield Parks, and our police and fire departments continue to work hard on your behalf. Information and resources can be found on the Township website, the police Facebook and Twitter, or call West Bloomfield Park's COVID-19 Help Hotline. Please remember to keep your social distance of at least 6 feet, wear facial coverings when you leave your home, and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds with soap. These precautions will help keep you safe during these difficult times.
Welcome back to the Megacast on Civic Center TV, 89.3 Lakes FM and lakesfm.com, Birmingham Municipal Access Television, 88.1 WBFH The Biff, WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio, and on the Facebook page of the West Bloomfield Township Police Department, who joined us this morning with Curt Lawson and Lieutenant Eric Tilley on the program, talking about law enforcement in the community and how we can keep safe as we gradually reopen things in the community and the economy begins to restart locally. Now we're going to be joined on the Megacast by David and Susan Emmerling from Keego Harbor. They are both part of Art Sale, joining us on the Megacast. David and Susan, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having us.
How are you guys holding up? How's your family holding up during all this?
Thanks. We're doing really well. Thank you for asking. How about you?
I'm doing all right myself. Thank you very much. So you're both part of Art Sale in Keego Harbor. And for those who aren't familiar, what is Art Sale?
Art Sale is a group of local artists, and we've been together about 4 or 5 years now. And we have a president, Robin LaFrance. I'm the vice president. We have a number of people. We meet regularly. We have a Facebook page. Local artists connect, and they help promote each other. They help take part in events. We support each other. We have meetings, and our Facebook page is just a wonderful place for local artists and for fans. It's not just for artists, for people who like art to go on and connect. So I'd like to invite everybody to join Art Sale.
It's a great showing of local art. I've been on the page before. I've seen a lot of the art. It's amazing how many great local artists we have in Oakland County and in the surrounding areas. And it's safe to say that during a stressful time like this, art is a very useful tool and a useful outlet for people as well. And so Susan, you're an artist, and from your perspective, how can art serve as a creative outlet both for an artist and for those who are consuming art to help relieve stress during times like this?
I would say that creativity is just the most wonderful way to keep yourself occupied. If you are in your house and you're trying to entertain yourself, it's really great all year round. But creativity is just, it's wonderful for all levels. Some of us can paint and we can draw, we can do photographs, ceramics, but there's other people out there who might just do needlepoint or something that, any type of creativity at this time is very therapeutic. And even looking at art, we've noticed a lot more people are looking at our Art Sale page just to connect and see what artists are doing. Some artists even share the process. They'll do a video of the process of their work, and so it's great. And we have a lot of really talented people.
And there are a lot, you do, and there are a lot of people that are also in our community. One of the big stressors that they're facing is people are just trying to make ends meet right now. They're out of work. They're having trouble getting food. They're struggling right now. They're furloughed. They're not going out and doing what they always are doing, which is going to work and helping bring food to their family and keep a roof over their head. And Art Sale is currently going through a process to help some of these people that are in need in the local area out. Could you explain what Art Sale is working on right now with other community organizations to help ease some of those worries for these people that are absolutely in need during this time?
Well, that's a great question. The local restaurant Indo, which is an Indonesian restaurant in Keego Harbor, started almost immediately doing a little bit of a fundraiser and to keep their employees working, feeding the needy, and that included local veterans, elderly, and people in need. And they were doing it on their own with these food boxes that they were delivering to these people. And that has been very successful in keeping them alive and keeping local business alive, which has been fantastic. So the idea came up of what can we do to help local here, and the idea of having we named it Have a Heart with the emphasis on art auction. Art Sale reached out to all of its local artists and said, is there any art that you'd like to donate? And on May 14th at 7 o'clock, we're going to do a Zoom art auction with 100% of the proceeds, since the art was donated, goes to this feeding need. And I'm involved with the Ohio State Alumni Club of Detroit, and we have a big, we have a nice budget to be able to work with, and we are donating $250 of matching funds to go dollar for dollar for the money that's raised in this art auction.
Well, that's fantastic, and you're partnering with Indo in Keego Harbor. Are there any other community organizations that are involved, or if they would like to get involved, can get involved?
Absolutely. We reached out to the local organization called the Jacket Club, which their charter here local is to help the needy, and they're going to help us identify some of the people that this food would go to. We are still looking for people to give us some names so we could vet them out. If there's any other organizations that would like to either donate to this fund, because there's a donate page that the money's going to go to, and then the art will get exchanged once it's paid. Or if they have art, if there's other artists that like to donate, Art Sale's website is the one that has the links to populate the art that's being donated. Each piece of art will have a reserve on it. We don't want to give away this art, so if it doesn't meet the reserve, then the art will just stay with the artist. But we've already gotten a lot of excitement in the community of people that says, oh, they know they're going to be bidding on stuff. So this should be a wonderful opportunity for people to exchange both on the Zoom to talk to each other in this desolate time, and also to help people in need.
So Art Sale artists are going to be auctioning off their art in this. For those that maybe aren't members of Art Sale but would like to contribute to a good cause and help by donating some of their art to be auctioned off as well, can they get involved, and how would they get in contact with Art Sale to make that happen?
Absolutely. We welcome all artists, and we're always welcoming new artists into Art Sale. We're an open group. We'd love to include everybody, but if you're not in Art Sale, we'd love to have you donate your art, and you just have to go. David, maybe you'll
we'll help you with the links if you don't already have them, and where to donate. And what Susan's saying is Art Sale is really not an exclusive club. So even if they're not in Art Sale today, they could be in Art Sale tomorrow by just saying like on the Facebook page. So yes, any kind of donation, both cash or art, or for that matter, hopefully the auction, people bidding on the art is where all the money is going to come from.
And when you go on our site, when we gave you the links, anyone can go on the site to see all the art. There's about almost 60 pieces already that are on there that are available. We have a local pottery artist. We have painters. The work is beautiful on there. I have a couple examples here to show you. Yeah, I'm also in the show, and I don't have on hand examples of everybody's work, but I want to encourage everybody watching to go on and look at the other artists that are in there. There's some beautiful work. I just happen to own a piece of pottery by one of the artists that donated. This is done by Jack Butler, who has his studio in Kego Harbor, and his beautiful work is going to be part of the auction. He put in at least five or six pieces, I think. And so this is one example. I'll show you a couple pieces of mine that are going to be part of the auction. I just happen to have here. So these are just a couple examples, and the price ranges go from the low, some of them start at very low bids and some go a little higher. This is a print of one of my paintings. So we have prints and we have original paintings. This is another print of one of my paintings. These are, the originals are in watercolor, and these are quality matted prints. And I'll show you one more.
Okay.
Here's a original watercolor that's framed. And some of these have pretty reasonable starting bids on them. The artists are being very generous and offering their work at very reasonable starting bids. So I encourage everybody to go on and check out the other artists. There's some wonderful art.
Absolutely.
And another thing to point out, because we know that we recognize that everybody's going to be on Facebook, which is where all of the art is being populated. For the actual Zoom meeting, all that's required for people is to have their computer linked to the Zoom, and we're going to feed the video of the art as a desktop share, so they don't have to have a Facebook page to see the art before they bid on it.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and there's plenty of great art on it. I've been on the page. We'll get a link out there so that those watching, you can go to civiccentertv.com. Those listening can go to civiccentertv.com on our coronavirus page and have that information that they'll need, and we can push that out through social media as well. And I've seen some of the art. It's fantastic. It's beautiful. There's a variety of it, and we also, you mentioned yet a piece of pottery from Jack Butler in Kego Harbor. We've had him on before and on the Splash on our news magazine. So there's a lot of variety of art out there. And before I let you go, we just got a couple more minutes. One of the concerns in these times, of course, is safety. Everybody's touching different things, and with the art, getting that art to the people who have bid on it. How is Art Sale and its partners in this ensuring that the art does get to its recipients in a safe manner?
So the people that have known protocol from the day one to be able to handle providing safe goods to the community is the restaurants. So that was paramount in our discussion of how are we going to exchange all this stuff. So Indo is restaurant has been closed all these weeks. As you know, they have been delivering and also carry out. So they know the protocol of being able to keep things safe. So the art, once the art has been bid on and approved and met the reserve, the art will be delivered then to Indo, which will then take 3 days to sit in their restaurant safe and sound, and then the art bidder who won it will then make prearranged time to pick up the art at Indo after the 3 days of quarantining.
Fantastic. So safety measures have been taken. I think it's a great idea, too, to have the restaurants handle that. They've been working through these safety precautions since day one, and it's good to know that this community collective for a good cause is taking all the measures that has to be taken in order to make this effective. So David and Susan Emmerling from Art Sale, before I let you go, joining us on the Megacast, anything else that we haven't touched on? Anything else that the two of you would like to say?
Did we talk about the delicious food at Indo?
Yeah. The whole fact that this really was, and I kind of mentioned it in the intro, this not only is feeding the needy, but it's keeping the local restaurants open. This is an important detail that giving this donating this money to be able to keep their employees working and keeping a real treasure jewel of Indo in Kego Harbor is one of the variables that why we endorse this adventure.
All right, David and Susan Emmerling from Art Sale joining us on the Megacast. Thank you two very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you.
David and
Keep
Susan,
doing a great job.
Thank you. We'll do our best. David and Susan Emmerling on the Megacast on Civic Center TV, 89.3 Lakes FM and lakesfm.com, 88.1 WBFH The Biff, WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio, as well as on Birmingham Area Municipal Access and the West Bloomfield Township Police Department's Facebook page on today's Megacast. Just a couple of minutes left in the program. So before I let you all go today, I want to remind you all this information and all of our show content is online on our website right over here on civiccentertv.com. We got information about the Carryout Club, about the coronavirus. You can watch our channel live all day, every day, and in high definition, by the way. And all of our content is on demand. On the coronavirus page, we have up-to-date information on local news and updates from around the community, around the state and the country regarding COVID-19. And all of our content from the episodes are on our Megacast page on civiccentertv.com/Megacast. So plenty of content out there and information, keeping it, and we keep that updated on the daily. Our producer Jeff and our web team Adam and Charlie both keeping that up to date very, very often and making sure that we have the latest news and information that you need to know up on our website so that you can keep informed right here in Oakland County in your hometown. The difference between the national news, the local news, and this hyper-local news is that here we are focused on Oakland County. It is in your backyard, and we have a staunch commitment to keep you informed about what's going on in Oakland County. That is going to do it for today's Megacast, and I thank you for joining us. Dave, Scott, and I will be back tomorrow and Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon with more. In the meantime, stay home, stay safe, be kind, and good day. This has been the Megacast.